On today's graduation pre-show, I caught up with Principal Hannah about the upcoming outdoor graduation for the class of 2021, and as he explains, he's ready for a night to remember.
Class President Akash Shetty has some advice for seniors about graduation night.
And the class of 2021's Carolyn Hagee shares how it feels to be class valedictorian in a pandemic.
All of these stories on this week's Panther News, starting right now.
Hello Panthers, I'm Ryan Martin.
And I'm Luke Sidwell. On graduation day, Franklin High School will host 451 graduates and their families at Pizzini Stadium.
These students have been an integral part of our community, and they've spent their senior year struggling through a pandemic.
I know, Ryan, it's been a crazy year, but things are looking brighter and we're now ready to send them off as high school graduates.
To kick off our coverage of this big event, I caught up with FHS Principal Mr. Hannah. Let's take a look. This is Ryan Martin with Panther News. In preparation for today's graduation, I was able to talk with Principal Hannah on the football field to get a better understanding of how he was planning on going from gridiron to graduation. As we talked on the seniors' final day in school, Mr. Hannah explained his excitement on seniors having the traditional 6 guests in attendance. Mr. Hannah is optimistic the school's first outdoor graduation will go smoothly, but cites weather concerns as a key factor in returning to indoor graduations for future years. Coordinating the special day was certainly a challenge, but for Mr. Hannah, it was nothing compared to the obstacles he has already overcome this year. I'm here with Principal Hannah. Principal Hannah, we're on the football field where graduation will be held. We're on senior day right now. What is this field going to look like come senior graduation?
Ryan, nice to meet you, and thanks for doing the show. So what we're going to be looking at out here are over 2,500 chairs, which will allow for each graduate 6 guests. 4 that'll be in individual pods separated by 6 feet, and then 2 additional standing room only. We're going to have additional bleachers and other areas set up so that they can kind of socially distance but be a part of the ceremony. So the students will be sitting together. Families will be sitting in potted areas separate, all around, kind of like encompassing the students. The students will be in the middle of the field from about the track to about the beginning of the Panther, from about the 20-yard line to 20-yard line. We'll have 30 kids on either side of the 50-yard line, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be quite a setup. Obviously, being outside because of COVID-19 and the safety issues. Besides from being outside, are we going to be able to see any kind of special precautions that we wouldn't see in a normal graduation?
For sure. One of them is the example of the pods being separated by 6 feet. So in a typical graduation where we had 6 guests per, they'd be kind of like condensed in small areas all throughout the gymnasium and into the auditorium. And so we're going to be giving opportunity for space to occur between, family units. Of course, this has all been changing over the last few months. The Governor and State of Massachusetts Department of Education have been consistently giving us updates, and most recently they were allowing us to hold a graduation that's far more similar to what we've been used to in the past than what happened last year, etc. So we're excited, and we're excited to have a tremendous celebration for the class of 21.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it, how much this plan has changed so much with CDC guidelines, a lot of changes. How has you and your team been able to just go so smoothly and adapt as you've gone on this process?
I'm not sure if it's been terribly smooth, but we've adapted in the best way we can, and I think that's what we've all learned in this past year is the importance of flexibility and being able to kind of take new direction and go with it as best you can and have some patience and grace as we continue to iron out the details that are in front of us. But the one good thing is at the beginning of the year when we were transitioning and adjusting, it was more like less is going to be able to happen. And so that was very frustrating to kind of like message that to families and students, like, sorry, we can't do this, sorry, we can't do that. Now, this last few months, we've been able to do more and more. And I think, being able to share that information, it's more well received by the students. And I just think we're getting to that kind of light at the end of the tunnel we've all been talking about for the last 15 or so months. And, I'm certainly excited.
Yeah, everyone very much excited. That light is coming soon. June 5th approaching rapidly for senior graduation. Principal Hannah, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, Ryan, thank you, and best of luck with the rest of your program.
Appreciate it. And as he mentions, the graduation pre-show will continue right now.
Great story, Ryan. We're excited for our first outdoor graduation at Pizzini Field, and I'm sure the graduates are too.
I know they are. Didn't you speak with a very important senior this past week?
I did. Here's my interview with Senior Class President Akash Shetty. Hi, I'm Luke Sidwell here with Senior Class President Akash Shetty. It's been a year like no other, but we've made it to the finish line. For seniors, graduation is all that stands between them and the next phase of their lives. Akash, thanks for joining us to talk about this year's graduation.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me, Luke.
So, what preparations do seniors have to make for the graduation ceremony?
So first things first, there are tickets. And so as of now, with the current guidelines, each student is allowed 4 people in a pod on a football field and 2 guests that can stand outside the football field. So those tickets needed to be reserved actually before Monday, May 17th, so that should already be done. But if it's not, I would definitely reach out to admin ASAP to work that out. And then on Tuesday, June 1st, that's when seniors are going to receive a graduation box. And that's going to have their cap, their gown, any cords or sashes that may be from any clubs or anything like that. And so they'll receive that, all their graduation gear to say on Tuesday, June 1st. And then other than that, definitely bring a lot of water, also for the guests because it will be outside, so it may get hot.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully it'll be a nice day out.
I hope so too.
How should the seniors and their guests arrive at the graduation?
Yeah, so graduation is June 4th again. That's Friday. So graduates are required to come to the school by 3:30 and report to the FHS football field in your cap and gown, all of that stuff. And then for guests, they'll have their tickets and they should show up to the football field no earlier than 4 p.m. With their ticket in hand. Typically, people like to get there early because, just to get a good seat.
For the final question, obviously this has been a challenging year. Is there anything that you've learned that you'd like to share with your classmates?
Yeah, I'd say, coming off of this year, definitely teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not possible to do anything alone, really, in my opinion. But, in this year, it was definitely not possible to do anything alone. So when it comes to planning graduation, planning these events, we've been working together as a team, and I think it's a really good lesson to take forward that have others by your side and work together because that's how we get things done.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Akash, thanks for joining us, and congrats, seniors.
Thank you, Luke.
I'm Luke Sidwell. Back to you.
Great interview, Luke. Now, for our final segment, one of the highlights of graduation is hearing from the class valedictorian.
That's right, Ryan. We sat down with Carolyn Hagee, who previews her speech and has some inspiring words for the graduating class.
This segment is brought to you by Panther News. Congratulations to the FHS seniors who are graduating this weekend. It has been a challenging year, but we are all so impressed with everyone's hard work and dedication. We sat down with Carolyn Hagee, the class's valedictorian, to hear all about her experience over the past few challenging months. When she found out she was class valedictorian, Carolyn says she was honored and surprised.
So having only been here at FHS for 2 years, I wasn't even sure if I was allowed to get this honor because I didn't take all of my classes here at Franklin High School. But when they called in the top 5%, I was just really overwhelmed by how amazing all of the students were in that room, so I really wasn't expecting it. These were all the most smart, intelligent, passionate students that I've met in my career in high school. So I was pretty surprised, and I'm really proud and honored to be able to have this honor.
Though time management has always been a challenge, Carolyn persevered by organizing her time.
Time management was definitely one of the most difficult things that I've had to deal with throughout high school. I've done several clubs at school, National Honor Societies, and I've been in figure skating for all 4 years, and especially the past 2 years I started synchronized skating, which is a pretty intense team sport with a lot of practice time and a lot of out-of-town competitions, so I would actually get really behind. But I found that I had to compartmentalize everything and set aside a certain amount of time for everything that I was going to get done and really plan out what I was going to do every day and try to get ahead when I could in my classes.
When asked about how she prepared her speech for graduation, Carolyn had this to say.
There's definitely a lot of pressure with what to say at graduation. It's one of the most important days of our lives so far. Everyone's been looking forward to it for 4 years, and I want to make sure that everyone feels represented in what I say and they feel like they can relate to it. So I'm mostly just going to be trying to talk about taking our time and making sure that we're happy with the way that our life is going and our path. and making sure that my classmates know that it's okay to change your mind and change your path throughout life.
Thanks, Carolyn. We're all super excited to hear your speech at graduation. Good luck to you, and good luck, seniors. This is Panther News signing off.
Great interview, and thanks to Carolyn for sitting down with us. I should also note, she's mentioned she'll be attending Boston University on the pre-med track.
That's exciting. What an achievement. We also want to acknowledge Elaine Pooh, 2021's class salutatorian. Elaine will be attending Dartmouth College in the fall.
Best of luck to her and all the 2021 graduates on their future endeavors.
And that wraps up this year's graduation pre-show.
As a reminder, you can tune into graduation live on Franklin TV starting Friday at 5:30.
For all of us at Panther News, thanks for watching.